let's go ahead and get into it. And just to start here, I need to show this quick disclaimer. Just a heads up, any trades that I'm placing today is in no way investment advice. These are not necessarily good trade ideas, or don't go and think that you need to go place these trades that I'm placing. It's just simply for demonstrative purposes. But hopefully they turn out well. Maybe Scott won't fire me for losing some money in our demo account here. But so let's get into it. Right now, we're looking at the desktop trading platform, and we're going to be trading some options. So I like to just to ask off the bat in chat, what kind of strategies are you guys trading? What do you guys want to see us demo on the platform today? Are you trading spreads, single leg options, iron condors, ratios? What kind of strategies are you guys placing on the platform? See Peter asking about for trading Bitcoin. I can show that at the very end, my friend. We're going to be doing options first. But we got strangles, butterflies, naked puts, 0 DTE. Love to see it. Okay, awesome. Strangles. Got a few covered calls, straight calls, credit spreads. Okay, great. And then I see Jacob, you asked as well, are we going to have a little Q&A session at the end? Yeah, we will have a Q&A at the end here where you can ask some follow-up questions and I'll go into the details. But awesome. Okay, so we got some defined risk spreads. We got some strangles, so not so much defined risk, and kind of everything in between. So I'll start it out simple here in terms of just buying a call or a put on the platform, and then we'll kind of expand it out and show you how you can start to trade maybe some calendar spreads, diagonals, that kind of jazz. It's all very easy to do once you have a base understanding of our trade tab, but we'll get into it right now. So when you first open up the platform, the first thing you might see is going to be the positions tab or potentially also our dashboard tab. So let me just get my drawing tools over here. Bada boom. So you might see the dashboard. So if I click on this here, you might see this off the bat on your screen, this little window. For what we're looking at right now, we have a little description in our desktop overview video, but we can just go ahead and close out of this window just by clicking on the X in the top right. So if I line that up, the X right there, we can click on that and that will close out of the dashboard. Now you're going to be presented with your default screen, which is just the platform's positions tab. And if you're just new to our platform, you're also going to see a blank page here as well. There's going to be nothing on it right now because we don't have any open positions. If we wanted to place a new trade, all we need to do is navigate to the trade tab first. So you can get to the trade tab by clicking on this button right here. There's also a couple other little shortcuts that I'll show later, but just for simplicity's sake, we go ahead and click on trade. And now when we get into our trading mode, this is where we're going to be placing our options trades. So kind of the meat and potatoes here is going to be in the center of our platform. Right now, we are actually in our first mode, which is called table mode. If you're trading options, and personally, in my preference, I'm spending a majority of my time in this table mode here. So I'm under the trade tab, under table mode. This is where you're going to see all the expirations for your current active symbol. And something that I just want to loop back really quickly is the platform's active symbol. Right now, we're actually looking at ZM or Zoom. We can tell that by seeing it at the top of our platform. Its name is on the right side here. But if we were to either click on this search bar here up at the top of the platform, we can search for a different symbol, maybe Costco, which is just COST. If we wanted to trade that symbol, we could type in cost or any of the letters of the name of the company, and you'll see a list of companies. And then you can click on that or press enter. And now Costco is our active symbol at the top of the platform. And you're going to see the options chain underneath here for Costco. So previously we're looking at Zoom. Right now, this is the options chain for Costco if we wanted to buy or sell options in Costco. What's really nice about our left-hand watch list here, and especially maybe if you're looking to set up an earnings play or your product indifferent and you just want to look for maybe some liquid underlyings to trade options on, you go to our watch list tab here really quickly. draw that for you. If we go to watch lists over here on our left side, click on this drop down and go to liquidity high options volume. Based on some proprietary measures in terms of the open interest and volume for options, as well as the amount of outright contracts traded for the day, you're going to get a list of options with generally high options volume or good liquidity. So that means that you're not getting any slippage or essentially kind of losing money in a sense from trading very illiquid options. So these are all some relatively good symbols if you're looking for liquid options in particular. We go and click on any of these, so maybe J&J, Johnson and Johnson right here on this tab. If we click on that in our watch list, just left click it. Now you see at the top of our platform, welcome, Pete, just got in. So we got J&J here, we clicked it, and now at the top of our platform, Johnson and Johnson is our active symbol. And also we are looking at the options chain for Johnson and Johnson below. So this left-hand watch list, as you're navigating and trading different symbols in the trade tab, it's very important that you have this open up here on the left. Maybe you got a certain set of symbols that you like to change or trade. And then also maybe you want to look through recent symbols that you just clicked on. So you saw that we had Costco just before this. We could click on that and now it's our active symbol, or potentially Zoom as well. You can click on Zoom here on the left-hand side of the screen. And now Zoom is our active symbol and we're looking at the options chain. Off the bat, something that might catch your eye, it's going to be that purple line there on our options chain. It's kind of the biggest differentiator in color. See this purple line right here? That's actually indicating a earnings date coming up on Zoom. So maybe as we're looking to place an options trade, decide on an expiration that we want to trade. Maybe we're trading an option that's going to expire in 9 days or 30 days. We can look and see, oh, where does this fall in terms of earnings or dividends? Maybe we want to play around that, or not get muddied up in an earnings announcement, or potentially get assigned on a short option and pay a dividend, something along those lines. Good things to keep track of. Just to show you with Costco, since we had it up earlier, you can also see the dividend date for the underlying on the trade tab as well. So we got the blue D, purple E. You're going to see this whenever you see this on the trade tab here. That means you got a dividends or earnings date coming up, and you can see which date that's happening on the right side. So we got a dividend for Costco coming up on, or ex-dividend date for Costco on August 24th. And then we have an earnings announcement for Costco on September 26th. And you see this little bell icon here on the right side of the screen, or on the right, you see an arrow to the right of that. That means that the announcement is going to be after the bell. So right now, and I saw someone mentioning earlier, maybe you're having a little hard time seeing, just want to maybe possibly zoom in here for you guys. If you're having a hard time seeing the screen, we do have a light mode and we also have some zoom functionality. So if you click on this gear icon here, you get into your settings and we go to general, clear off that drawing. Once we're in the general settings at the bottom here, we have our zoom level. So you could either go into light mode, and for those of you in a dark room right now, it might blast your eyes. So I'm going to keep it as our dark mode for right now, but we can zoom in maybe to say 110% or 120%. And now you're going to see that our screen is quite a bit zoomed in. So maybe I'll go ahead and keep it here at about 110%. So the way I got to that setting was clicking on the settings gear icon right here, or you could click it on the top right of the screen as well, and then go into that general tab and you can mess around with the zoom settings. So let's keep it at 110, make it a little bit easier to see. Sorry if some of you were having issues there. So back to the trade tab, we're seeing some more information. Maybe you are seeing something partially different, and the main thing here would be the different expirations. So right now we're looking at Costco. We can see the monthly expiration for Costco, which is kind of this light blue here that's going to expire in 2 days. August 18th is the third Friday of the month. So that's why we have an expiration there. You also have September 15th, which is in 30 days, or 30D. And that is going to be the monthly expiration for September, or the third Friday for September for that month. Same goes for October, November, and the rest of the days. And you can really get out far, maybe even to June 2025. You're not going to get the monthlies once you get out to the leaps, but you can start seeing, oh, maybe I want to trade a contract that's going to expire in about 2 years or 674 days. Or maybe you're looking, hey, I really like to set up a trade right around 45 days until expiration or 60 days until expiration based on your current criteria. And that's where you can go and kind of quickly see, okay, that's the expiration I want to trade. As well, you're going to see here that we have some different expirations. We got this little orange W, and you're thinking, what does that mean? Why do we have an orange W there? And that is actually indicating a weekly expiration. So when it comes to the options world, you're going to have monthly expirations, and then you're also going to have potentially weekly expirations, which means that, you know, either on a Monday or a Friday each week, there's an additional expiration for this option. In this case, it looks like for Costco, we have a weekly Friday expiration. So there's going to be an additional Friday expiration for Costco every single week for about 5 or 6 weeks out. And that's denoted by this darker colored and then this orange W. If you don't see this on your screen right now, it's really easy to add it. You see this little funnel icon in the top of our screen. If you click on the funnel icon up here, and get rid of those drawings. But if we click on this funnel icon up here, and then make sure that we have all expirations selected. So you might have regular expirations only, and that's where you're only seeing these monthly expirations. But if you go up here, click on all expirations, you're going to see those weeklies too. So a good place to start if you wanted to see all the expirations on the underlying, or if you wanted to just stay to the monthlies, you could go to regular as well. In the case here of setting up a trade, let's look at maybe, I was looking at Zoom earlier, but Costco actually looks kind of exciting as of recent. So maybe let's look to place a trade on the October 20th, 65 days out expiration. We can open up the options chain for this expiration simply by clicking on any place on this row, or you kind of see how this arrow here on the left side of the screen is indicating a drop down. As long as you just click on this row, you're going to see all of the applicable strikes for this chain. Got our header here still, but now we see all these strikes here. And you might see a few less strikes as I scroll up and down with my mouse wheel, or click on the right side of the screen here and drag up and down. See a lot of strikes. You can set some more strikes here on the trade tab by simply going up here and going strikes all, or maybe you just want to see 10 strikes. So I know I saw some people mentioning earlier that they like to place diagonals or calendars potentially. If you're trading calendar spreads, it's really nice to maybe set it at, say, 8 strikes here, and you can see the October 20th expiration. And then maybe if we were to buy an option in this expiration and then sell, or sell an option in this expiration and then buy an option in the November 17th expiration, we could do that at the same exact time. So just to show you really quickly, if we were to buy an option, I'll show you guys how to do this again, but you can set up 2 legs and 2 different expirations in the same order. And that's how you do a calendar. So, you know, some of you mentioned that, but we'll go in a little more detail shortly. But just for simplicity's sake, let's go ahead and keep in this October 20th expiration. And maybe let's go out to 16 strikes or like 20. 20 looks nice, fills up our screen. So in the middle of our screen, we're seeing all of the strike prices for Costco for this expiration. You can see all the strike prices right here. So right now, Costco is trading at about, or at least the last price that was at the close was, let's say, $560. And that's where you see the 560 strike right there at the money. So this is going to fluctuate as the price of Costco is moving as well, but you can see that last price that correlates to 559.05 is that actually that gray donut right here. So during market open, markets are closed right now for options trading US, but while the market's open, you're going to see this little donut here. It might be green, it might be red. That's indicating an increase, decrease in price. Then also on our screen here, we're going to have a couple different columns. So off the bat, I like to have open interest in volume. So you can see, hey, how many open contracts are currently being held for this strike in the US markets, or what kind of volume of contracts have been traded at this strike. Maybe, generally the more open interest or volume you see on a particular strike, the more liquid or the tighter the bid ask is going to be. For example, let's just like look at the 515 strike. If we see on the call side here, see the bid and the ask. So that's our sell or buy price for the 515. You can see that all right here. This is on our call side, but you can see the difference in the bid. So if we clicked on the bid, we'd be selling this option at default price there. If we entered at our order ticket, 53.70, and then the ask price is 54.50. So that's about 80 cents between the bid and the ask there. And that's, with the market closed too, you're going to see it widen out since, you're not getting any active trading. But, generally that's a pretty wide bid ask. If you were to buy and then immediately sell, you're probably going to be losing a little bit money due to slippage or just that wide bid ask. And you can kind of see here that the volume of contracts traded today was zero. So no one actually bought or sold the 515 Costco strike here for the October 20th expiration. And we can see that, about 142 people, or there's 142 contracts currently held open for this strike. And if we compare that to maybe say the 550 strike right here, that has an open interest of 525, volume of 11, you can see that bid and ask spread, that difference is only 35 cents. So, kind of as you're getting more liquid underlyings, that bid and ask spread's tightening, which is going to be favorable for a trader. You want to look for as tight of bid ask spreads as possible. Otherwise, you're potentially leaving some money on the table. That's why you can trade, trading liquid underlyings is a good idea. So that's why I like to have these columns up here at the top, open interest and volume. If you wanted to add those columns, all you got to do is just on the top header here, click on there. And now you have all these different selections. So maybe if you wanted to check out the Greeks, see the delta for each of these option strikes, maybe you're thinking like, I like to set my strangle at around 16 deltas, or in this case, maybe the 605 strike on this side and the 510 on this side. Or you wanted to see, hey, how much theta will each of these strikes collect if I sell these options? Or inverse, how much time decay is going to play against our long options? So you can adjust these top columns to whatever you like. I know some people like to check out, hey, what was the high or low for the day for each of these strikes as well? You can check that out. Or maybe let's see, maybe the last price. But personally, I really like keeping, and sorry if it's getting a little cluttered here, but personally, I like keeping the open interest and volume. Just helps me kind of do a little discovery in terms of, hey, where are people trading on this underlying or expiration, or where's kind of the traffic happening. I mean, even then, it's kind of interesting to just look at the options chain and see, oh wow, like what's kind of going on at this 600 strike here, like who's holding these 1.2K contracts. Someone's got some kind of premonition. So you can just kind of get some insight on the market just by looking at that as well. It's interesting stuff to look at. But how do you add more columns like IV? So Scott, if you do have two columns here, and right now I just zoomed into 110%. If you're working on a second monitor or bigger screen off of your laptop and you zoom out or just have a bigger resolution, you will get some additional columns here on the left side. And then you can go in here and potentially add in maybe implied volatility. So you have IMPL, VOL. So now you can add in the implied volatility to this chain here. And again, bigger screen, you got more screen resolution, you'll have some additional columns. And now the columns that don't change are going to be our bid and ask price for each of these. And this is important because this is where we're going to set up our trade. So just for basic stance, if we wanted to buy a call or maybe take a bullish stance on Costco, try to see if we can profit if the price increases fast enough before time decay and other factors kick in. We could buy an out of the money call on Costco by simply finding our strike here. So maybe we're thinking, okay, I want to maybe buy the 570 and see how that looks. So if I wanted to buy, all you need to do is click on the ask price here. So all I did was just left click on the ask price that correlates to the strike that we wanted to buy. So maybe 570. If we wanted to buy the 570 strike here, we could click on the ask price. You can see we are now buying that strike. It's labeled with the green kind of designation there. And if we wanted to edit this strike, there's a couple different tools we can use. We can go down here at the bottom of our screen and click on strikes here and adjust the strike that we're trading or that we're buying. But also, and personally, easiest way to do this is just left click and drag. So you can drag and move it around. And as you're doing that, your order ticket or all these factors in the bottom of our order ticket, like probability of profit, your delta, your theta, max profit, max loss, this is all updating in real time as you adjust your order ticket to say a different option strike or maybe a different price. In the stance of buying a call, your max loss is however much you're paying to open the position. So if we were to set it at a price of $15, which multiplied by 100, it's a potential max loss of $1,500, which we can see right here on the side of our screen. And we could potentially go to the moon. We could go max profit infinite. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but we'll see. So now that we've selected a leg, there's also some more interesting visual cues that you're just going to have while you're in your trade ticket here. First, and I think someone mentioned it, was the expected move. So the expected move is a calculation that's looking at all of the different options pricing, kind of determining, hey, where over the next 65 days until expiration is Costco going to trade at with a one standard deviation or, kind of 68% certainty. And that number comes out to about 36.43. And you can see that up and down on our options chain with this orange highlighted bar on the right side. So I'll draw a little arrow for you guys here. But you see this orange bar here, that is going to be the expected move on the top side, as well as the expected move on the bottom side. So that's 36.43 from the last price up and down. This can kind of help, especially too. I'll set up a strangle here in a little bit or an earnings play, which is kind of a nice example, but you can definitely use that expected move in figuring out, hey, where do I want to set up my strangle or maybe my break-even points based on the statistics of this options chain. So we have the expected move on the right, which is also denoted at the top of our chain here, the right too, and the implied volatility for the whole options chain. But on the left side of the screen, kind of left to the orange bar there, you're going to have some green and red profit or loss zones. So this is indicating your potential profit or loss or break even point for this trade. So if Costco were to trade down to say a price of 560 at expiration, we're going to be at a loss. Or if it were to trade up to 559 based on our ticket right here, we would be at a profit. And you're thinking, okay, that's a decent view, but I'm not really getting the whole picture here. Like, how much profit am I going to be at when I get to that point? What's really nice is that you can get a different view of all this by simply clicking on curve here. So if we go to curve first, we've selected our trade. We got it in our order ticket. If we go to curve here at the top, now we have a bit of a horizontal view of our trade ticket. Same exact thing as what we were doing before. We see all the strike prices here in the middle, the pricing. You can drag and move around. You can see the expected move here in this orange line in the middle. And you see our trade ticket updating in real time, but let's keep it at 570. And then once we're in curve mode, and again, if you just like a horizontal view, it's a nice place to be. But if you then click on analysis here at the top, this is the big one that you guys are going to want to check out. Click on analysis here at the top. And now zoom in a little bit. Sorry, Zoom is messing up my tools here. There we go. Boom. So you can either scroll wheel it, or there's also some configuration tools at the top here, But once you are in curve and analysis, this is where you're going to get that kind of more in-depth break-even point, profit or loss zones at expiration. So right now we're looking at our at expiration line. So you can see our max loss potentially right now would be $1,600 if Costco were to expire at expiration below 570. Or you can see maybe if Costco were to trade up to say a price of $620 at expiration, if we scroll our mouse over that, we would be at a profit or loss of about $3,400. So this is where you can kind of get a visual of where your trade might look like at expiration. We also have some functionality in terms of your theoretical P&L with some of the tools here on the right side. It can get a little dense. I might touch on it a little bit later, but we do have a great tutorial video on our help center on this analysis tool. But I know a lot of you like to check out this analysis mode, either be on another platform or just when setting up options trades to dictate, hey, where is my break even point at expiration, which in this case is 585.14, or, where is my max loss, max profit? And I see a couple questions. Duan, what is this number right here? This is actually, I believe it should be row. So if you don't see that on the trade tab right here, you can adjust what values are shown in this section. If you click on this settings gear icon here at the top of your trade tab, I believe it should be under table mode as well. So if you click on this gear icon up here, you can see, okay, so that was actually gamma. Getting my Greeks mixed up. But you can add in gamma there, so or vega, CVAR. These are a little more in-depth options metrics or options Greeks. But if you're interested in having those for your trades, you can add it into the displayed section I just dragged and dropped. So if you want to see delta and theta first on the left, you can mess around with the order. And then also, I might have seen someone ask about the price overlay, but you can mess around with the price overlay here for the expected move. And right now we're checking out the expected move, but you could also do daily high and low as well. So personally, I just like the expected move, but you can mess around with it there if you don't see it on your screen. And now if we are ready to place our trade, we kind of checked out the profit loss zones. We like it. It looks good. The simple way to place our trade here would be click on, and you can also mess around with the order type as well. In this case, I'm just going to set it as a limit order, but maybe you wanted to place it as a market order and just have it sent to the market, get filled at the best available price. You could set a stop market order or a stop limit order. And then we also have the ability to place a bracket order. I'll show it in a little bit, but so we'll place a limit order here, which means that we're not guaranteed to get filled, but we're guaranteed to either get filled at a price of $16 or lower on this trade if it were to fill. And then also our time in force, we could change that today to GTD. But in general, I'm just good till cancel a GTC. It's going to keep working until it's filled, or I manually cancel the order to buy. Some other important things that I really want you guys to keep your eyes on while you're placing a trade too is this little section at the bottom of your screen. And the question comes up a lot of like, hey, why are my trades not filling? I place it at the mid price. I just placed this order. Why is my order not filling? Well, double check what price you're placing at, and then look at where the market is currently for this underlying. We can see based on the bid and ask here, it's 1580 to about $16. So we will likely get filled somewhere in between those two prices. We might just get filled at $16 or the higher end of the range. Ideally, when we're buying something, we want to place or pay less to buy it. So if we were to say place at a price of 1580, oops, let me get rid of that drawing, 1580 or the bottom of the range, kind of far away from our natural price, which is right now $16, we're kind of quite a lot less likely to get a fill. We're saying we're sending an order to the market. We're saying, hey, I'm willing to pay $15.80 to buy this. Someone else right now is probably willing to pay $16 to buy it. So there is a range, and that's where you might need to send it at $15.80 at first, and then we can kind of inkle up the price or replace the order and increase the price just to see where we might get filled. So in this example, let's go ahead. Let's place it at the bottom range. We won't get filled right away. Market's closed anyways, but let's go ahead and place this order. When we're ready, we can go ahead and click on review and send. And then we're going to get a quick breakdown of our order here. It's important. Don't double click right here. When you go review and send and click a bunch of times, that will send the order because you click review and send and then send orders right there. So click once, review and send, and then review everything, and then send your order. Everything that you see in the order ticket is what's going to be sent. So you can see the account we have selected. We're placing a trade in our purple account ending in 01. We are buying a Costco option for October 20th, 65 days until expiration at a 570 strike. It's a call, and we're buying to open or BTL. So we got all this information on our trade. You can see that it's a limit order at a price of 1580. It's good till canceled. And then we can also see, hey, how much buying power is going to be held up when we open up this position? Or what are the commissions and fees to open up this trade? So all that information is broken down in our reviews and send area. And also we're going to see any error messages that pop up if we're placing something that's wrong or, kind of like you're not able to do it. Or in this case, market's closed right now. So our order will begin working next market open at 8:30 tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central tomorrow. But if we wanted to edit our order, we could click on edit here. It's going to take us back to the screen that we are just at. Click on that. Now we are back in our screen that we were just at. And maybe I want to go ahead and we placed it at like 15. Oops, sorry, I changed it straight there, but we placed it at 1580. Maybe we want to do 1590 instead. We could type that in, click on review and send. And now we have an updated order ticket. If we hated this trade, it's disgusting. I don't like it anymore. You can get it off your screen and click on clear order here at the bottom, and that will just completely wipe the trade off of your ticket there. So good way to just freshen out everything if you're like, what was I even thinking? This is a bad trade. But let's go ahead and just send this order. Now we've sent our order. We can see in the top left of our screen, we're working in Costco. Nice. We can also see in our trade tab here too, that we do have a working order on this 570 strike. And now if we do navigate back to our positions tab here, we can see that we have something in there. Whoop. We have our working order to buy. So right now it's pending, which means that, we need to wait for the next market session. But if we wanted to mess around with this order, maybe it is the next market session. We're working a limit at 1590, but the natural price is at $16. Maybe I need to increase my buy order to 1595 to get a fill, or just a little bit higher to get more likely to get a fill. You can right click here on this trade here, or this order on Costco, right click and a quick action menu appears. This is where you can cancel the order, which is just like kind of like our clear earlier, or we can click on replace. So I mentioned we wanted to replace to 1595 or bump up our order a little bit in price. You click on replace there, and now we are back in our order ticket. We can type in 1595 or use these arrows here if we wanted to go up and down. So 1595, we can see we're getting a little bit closer to the natural price as well. So it just means we're more likely to get filled. So we're at 1590 at the mid price. We're bumping it up to 1595. We're in the green. I mean, also, if you just see like based on the lines here, get this dashed line, you're starting to go into where it's like, oh, you might be paying a little more than you need to, or it's in a liquid underlying and you have to kind of go closer to the natural price to get a fill based on where people have their working orders. So 1595, we can go review and send, double check our order ticket. We can see 1595 up here under our limit order price. We can send the order. And now in our top left, we are out of our order at 1590, and now we're working at 1595. So we go back to our positions tab too, and we're going to see that new order there as well. So very nice. You got your working order there. So I saw someone asking about changing the order quantity as well. So let me show you that real quickly. We can go ahead and cancel our order. Let's cancel that. Let's cancel as well. And just before I show you guys how to mess around with your quantity there, just a nice area that you can have either expand it out. So if you have a second monitor, I would definitely suggest clicking on this arrow up here and dragging this right side window. But if you have activity open, you can check out all those orders that we had just placed. So we had bought, we had these two working orders here to buy at 1590, buy at 1595 that we both canceled. So this is where you can kind of get an audit log of, hey, what orders was I placing? What was I doing before? That's some good stuff. See, Kevin, good question. So you're asking about conditional orders, and Alice as well. Are there hotkeys on the program? As of right now, we don't have hotkeys. We do have an open API. So if you are an automated trader, that's nice. But in terms of like, oh, I want to place this kind of trade when I click this button, we don't have that as of right now. There are some potential inherent issues with hotkeys just based from a safety standpoint, but it's something that we can definitely look into. So I'll definitely get that ticketed up with our dev team. But then also, Kevin, you're asking, is there an ability to place options trades based on the underlying stock? When we're in our order ticket here to buy an option, so to buy that 570 strike, clicking on the ask price, we're only able to base our order ticket on the options price itself. So you're not going to be able to say, hey, trigger this order when the stock price reaches a certain point. It's going to be trigger this order when the options price hits a certain point. The way around this, and it's an order type we are looking into building out. But what you can do is also look at the positions delta. And if you're saying, hey, based on a $1 move in the underlying, that's the amount of dollar change in the options premium. So you can do some mental math essentially to try and set up a conditional order in that fashion. But for what you're looking for as of right now, options orders are just strictly based on triggering off of the options price. So good question. Thanks for asking. Sorry for the inconvenience in the meantime, but super requested. So we're definitely looking into it. But okay, cool. So someone was asking about order quantity. So we had the arrows here for adjusting quantity, but also if you wanted to type in a number, you can left click in this bottom left-hand area here and either get to the left of it and essentially click delete or just start typing in a new number, and we could type in 100. Now we can buy 100 of these options. Something I also like to show as well, and I know some of you wanted to place like ratio spreads or something along those lines. If we were to buy the 560 and then sell the 565, so if we're selling, we're clicking on the bid price. So I click on the bid right here. So we can see we're selling a leg, we're buying a leg. So a little spread here. But if we wanted to mess around and buy two of the 560, but only sell one of the 565, you can either left click on the leg here at the top or double click here at the bottom and then type in or mess around with the quantity arrows. So you can type in 3 there. You can go, oops, also even that goes up in 3 to 1. So you could type in, essentially you want to use these quantities arrows here when you're messing around with the ratio. So you can go up to 3 to 1 there. And you'll see here, if you don't have the single leg selected, so say I have both legs selected, and then I click on quantity, you see that they're moving in step. So maybe if I clear this out here, restart with the 1 by 1. If I'm messing around with the quantity arrows here, it's going to go 2 and 2, 3 and 3 here at the bottom. So we're getting 3 spreads. But if you wanted to break it up and have maybe 4 by 3, not even there. Let's go back down. You'd need to use the quantity arrows here. So if you tried typing it in, you might be running into that issue, but you got to select one leg and then press the quantity. There's also the ability with our strategy selector tool. So I know a lot of you mentioned spreads earlier, and if you are new to the platform, this is a really great tool. If you go up here in the top of the platform to our strategy selector tool, and you have an options expiration open, and click on this drop down here, and now we're going to see all of the kind of basic strategies. You might not see all of them there, but in terms of just basic strategies, you can set up a strangle, a vertical, any of that stuff without having to click on the trade tab. I saw a lot of people were asking about a strangle earlier. If you wanted to set up a strangle or Jade Lizard too, Ricardo, I saw you're asking. Jade Lizard's right here. You could click on go. So normal Jade Lizard. And then also from the standpoint of you're setting up a vertical, You could toggle between short call and short put or long call and long put by just clicking on these buttons here. So if you wanted to set up a normal Jade Lizard here, you can click on go. And now you have a Jade Lizard set up, just a default one. And that's where you'll go ahead and then start dragging and dropping your legs, messing around with your order ticket price, and or changing the quantity if you see fit. So same goes with any of our other strategies. If you want to set up a strangle, you can go short strangle, click go. And now we have a strangle here. I was mentioning earlier, like maybe we want to set up a strangle outside the expected move. That's where it's really nice where you can kind of, let me go all here on the strikes. But if you're setting up your legs here, you can see, oh, okay, I sell my short call right outside that expected move. My break-even point is going to be right near one standard deviation on either side. And then how do you close a butterfly? Good question, Carlos. Good question. So if we wanted to open up a butterfly, we could do that here. But you might be running into an issue where you're trying to close a butterfly. And let's see if we have any trade examples here. So right now I'm just looking at quite a few open positions here, and I'm going to show you guys how to close a position. But while we're in our positions tab and say we did have some positions open, if we wanted to close a position or even just view our profit or loss or how our trade is doing, that's where we go to the positions tab. And then we're going to see all these different columns here. So right now we can see the change percent, P&L open percent. So for example, maybe let's look at, let's check out this strangle in AMD. This strangle in AMD, if we were checking out the progress of it, you can see it's set to expire in September. We can see the P&L open for this trade here in this line. So right now, if we were to close this position at the current mid price, we would get about a $300 or $33 profit. Based on the max profit potential, it's at about 8% or 9% of its max profit potential. We can see where we bought this spread. So we sold it, or we didn't buy the strangle, we sold the strangle, but sold the strangle and received a credit of 3.75 or 375 bucks. And it's currently trading at 3.42. So you take 3.42, subtract, or 3.75 minus 3.42, that's where you're getting that 33 for the $33 profit. You can also see the positions net delta, net theta. So we're collecting about $12.30 each day in time decay for this position, as well as we're slightly bullish on this strangle as well. So, we're going to profit if AMD slightly trades up right now. It's a little skewed to the upside. And then we have some other nice columns here that you can fully customize by clicking on the gear icon here. That'll take you to the settings. But so now that we've tracked, maybe we're thinking, okay, I want to go ahead and close out of this AMD strangle. How do I do that? Or how do I do a multi-leg option strategy? All you got to do is just go to your positions tab and then left click on each leg that you want to close, or at the top here, you can just click on the header for the symbol and then right click. And that's where you're going to be able to set up a closing order. So some people maybe like to place a close at profit percent. So, hey, if it reaches certain profit potential, close it there. Or you just want to place a simple order, maybe roll to a different expiration or strike, or analyze it. So a lot of different options here. In this case, just simply closing the trade. If we wanted to close position, we left click on that. Now you can see that to close, we're buying both legs back. So we're doing the opposite of the opening transaction. We can see in our bottom right here, oops, so I clicked an extra leg. But you can see here our potential max profit and loss, and then also that we're BTC, we're buying to close these legs. So this is where you can go in, and Bruce, I'll help answer your question there in a second, my friend. Thanks for asking. But you can see here, this is where you're buying to close or closing this order. And then you can go ahead and review and send or change the order price. So something I mentioned earlier, we were looking to close the trade. It looks like it's trading at about between a debit of 3.39 and 3.44. So The closer of a price we place to 3.44, the more likely we are to get filled and close this position. Or on the flip side, 3.39, we might get filled if we were to try and close this for a debit of that amount, but it's a little less likely. We either maybe want to work at a mid price of 340 or a little bit higher, maybe these drawing tools off here, but maybe 342 or 343, a little bit closer to the natural price. Once you're ready, review and send. And now we can place our closing trade. Right now, not able to place in this account, but that's how you could then send your closing order and it should start working. So I'm going to clear that out. But someone was asking, particularly with a butterfly, I believe. So that's where you're getting kind of, essentially, if we look at DDOG right now, or Datadog, if you go in here and you wanted to close all these options together, you'd have to left click all these legs, right click, and then go to close position. Make sure you go all the way down to full. And now you're able to close the full trade right there. So you can click on full, and now you're able to close all, oops, sorry, I'm getting some misfire clicks on my part, but now you're able to close all these legs together. You can see STC stands for sell to close, BTC stands for buy to close. So you're closing all these legs together. I believe hopefully that answers your question, my friend, from earlier, but you might be getting a little confused if you right click close position and then you click on balanced. See how it's only -1, +1, -1. You want to make sure that it's full, includes all of those contracts. On the flip side as well, if you are just running into issues trying to close this trade, there is a way where you could just sell the 90 here, buy one of the 95s, and then place two separate orders, or essentially two kind of leg out of it in two separate spreads. That's another way to do it. If you're trying to close out an iron condor, that's maybe how you have to close out, especially if you're getting options that are near expiration with a zero bid. So if you bought an option and then are trying to sell that option and it's listing a zero bid, you're going to either have to just hold that option until expiration or place an order to sell it at 1 cent. Hopefully it gets filled, or it's just going to expire out of the money. But that's where you can kind of run into a couple different issues when you're trying to close out these multi-leg spreads. But yeah, so that is a very basic understanding of how to trade options on the platform here. If you wanted to, one last thing is, if you wanted to reconcile any of your trading as well, so maybe if we want to check out a trade in, let's check out like Apple. If we wanted to see our progress with the same trade, let's see, maybe a good one here. Yeah, let's do TSM. I like that. So if you were to try and place a trade in TSM, or in this case, we actually placed a rolling trade, you can go into, Scott, we will have a recording here on our YouTube channel posted. I will show you guys where you can find that at the end of this. But while we're in our history tab here at the bottom, so imagine you have trades from a previous day and you wanted to check out, hey, what was my profit or loss on that? If you go in here, search for the symbol, make sure you're looking back enough days, you can see all the legs of opening and closing trades. In this case, we opened this spread here, and then I believe we rolled, and then we closed it out for a net. You can see in this top right here, once you have all of the legs of your opening and closing trades together, net loss of about 281 bucks. So not too hot, but what can you do? So that's where you kind of go back and get a glimpse at your profit or loss on previously open positions in the history tab. So that is, very basic understanding of how to trade options on our platform. The analysis tool, it can get a little complicated if you're really getting into it from a basic standpoint. I remember seeing someone, hey, can I just analyze one leg? If you have an open position and you go in and click on analysis here, so we left clicked on both legs, right clicked on analysis here. And then once we're in the analysis section on the right here too, so let me just draw you some arrows there, my friend. We've got analysis up here, and then you see these check boxes. So as you're analyzing a position, you can toggle and view only one leg at a time or both legs by just toggling between them. So if you have a bunch of different legs open, or maybe, for example, again, if we pull up Zoom, maybe let's get that drawing. Maybe we wanted to place a butterfly. Spread it out a little bit. And then we go to our curve analysis mode. So I'll show you guys one more time. Went to curve. Also made sure we clicked analysis. And then once we're in here, we open up our right side panel. Sorry about that. We open up our right side panel, same check marks. Maybe you don't want to view particular legs, you can do that there. So there is some functionality along those lines. Awesome. And Jacob, is there a way to export your results 100%? I see Andy toss a message in there, but what's really nice is on the history tab, there's a little CSV button up here in the top right. So even your positions tab too, there's a CSV button up here in the top right as well. A lot of these different watch lists, all this stuff. So you can download all that data if you would like to a Excel file or CSV file if you're looking to keep track of your results. So Chris Kelly, good question, my friend. So you're looking to filter last price while in the watch list. So let me go ahead and pull up our watch list tab here. So we have a nice big middle watch list tab here. If we click on watch list, functions the same exact way as our other tabs. Let me reset that there. But while you are in the watch list, if you did want to, and this is like where you can kind of set a range on the earnings. You can add in a last price. Yeah, last here. So you'd add in the last column from not displayed to displayed. And then you could potentially filter in ascending or descending order. And then also based on these filters on the right side, the last price of your watch list. Hopefully that answers your question, Chris. But that's quick, brief one on filtering in the watch list tab. And Duan, good question. How do I set up a futures trade? So we actually have a great demo on our YouTube channel, but just for reference, if you did want to trade one of the smallest products, go to watch list here on the left, futures, and then you go to futures small exchange. You're going to see all the different futures products we have, which is just a few right now. But if you click on those, or you just type in, say, /S10Y in the top here, it's going to pull up active symbol for the future. And then when you go to the trade tab, right now there's no options available for the small 10-year. But if you wanted to buy the contract, either you can click here, long futures go. Now you're buying it. You can click on the ask price here at the top header if you wanted to do that same thing. So if I clear that out and click on the ask here, you can set up a buy order. Or one place I know a lot of futures traders like to hang out is our active trader tab. So trade tab active, watch list futures all, or watch list futures small exchange. And now you can click on buy here and kind of set your orders with this ladder. So hope that helps out. Can you set up a trade, save it, and then execute it later? Good question, Alice. This is something that we did have in our previous web version. Something that we're looking to add to our new web browser platform. In terms of the desktop platform, you can't do that right now, but you could. It depends. The thought process there would be that you could do that. However, you just need to make sure that you place the, like, essentially you would start working the order at a price that would be outside of the range of a fill, and then you could cancel it and then queue up that trade later and just change the price. So kind of like on our, where are we working here? Let's go to our purple account we just had. But similar to our Costco trade there that we were placing earlier, we canceled it. If I am in my activity tab here, so activity, middle panel, and then you right click on a previous order, you see the similar order button right here. You can click on similar order and that launches it up. That's about as close as we have as of right now, but we are looking into adding in some abilities to potentially save orders. It's just, it can get a little diluted when you imagine you have someone who's saving like 2,000 orders and then you're trying to store that on the back end. It's just, it can get a little, it can slow things down. I think that's really the main reason why you wouldn't see that right now. But again, we'll be sure to pass on the feedback to our management dev team. So any other questions, please toss them in the chat while we're going through. Alice, would you consider adding BTO and SEC to the follow feed? Good question. Good question. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't see why not. Yeah, I'll reach out to our dev team on that because that shouldn't be too hard of an ask at all. So good question, Alice. Sorry about any inconvenience on that. In the meantime, would you consider adding analysis on a portfolio level to aggregate positions analysis? Good question, Bruce. And I got a follow up for you. So this is a little more of a, it can get a little tricky, but let's open up our account that had some open positions. But here in the positions tab, so you got all your positions open, you have this P&L button. So you click on that, and now you're actually getting a small account theograph based on your beta weighted symbol. So this is saying, hey, based on where SPY is trading, where is my overall account's theoretical profit or loss? So if SPY were to trade up to about $500, I'd probably be at a loss of, see in parentheses, that means a negative value of a loss of about 5,500 in this account. Whereas if it traded down, so I mean, we got quite a few net short deltas on SPY right now. So across our portfolio, but so that's how you can kind of very basic view of the analysis mode, or like kind of viewing how that might how your portfolio might look compared to your beta weighted symbol. So right now it's SPY, but pretty sure we could change that to Qs. And then, yeah, you'll see the beta weighted symbol here at the top updates too. So you can kind of change around, mess around, see, hey, based on, maybe if a lot of it, you're looking for like correlations in like Tesla or something, which would be a little wacky wild, but you could do that too and check it out and see. I mean, most of them are going to kind of show you the same thing, but one more thing, Bruce, that I think you might really like is, and especially too, just I think all of you guys should keep your eyes out on this, is the cap rec window. So you're thinking, okay, I opened up a bunch of positions. How do I actually check out how much buying power is being held up, or like, kind of what's my return on investment for all of these trades? You can go into cap rec here in the top right. Just click on I agree here. It's a little disclaimer about how one of the tools works, but here you're going to get all of your capital requirements across your account. So you can see we got about, that strangle in AMD. So potentially infinite max loss on either side. So we have a buying power requirement a little bit higher than our other positions of 3,360, but you get into some single leg options, or maybe spread on Apple, you're having about 450 held up in buying power. But what's really powerful, so click on the total here at the top, or make sure to check mark each of these boxes, and then click on risk analysis. So this is a little bit hidden in here in the platform. So just to show you guys where we got here again, we went cap rec. Make sure that you click on the totals or all the positions that you want to analyze here really quickly, and then click on risk analysis here at the top. When you do that, it's going to be it might look a little crazy at first, but what you're seeing here is actually based on certain volatility changes or percentage up and down moves. You can see what your potential profit or loss on a trade might be. So earlier we were looking at AMD. So if we have AMD here at the top, this is a strangle again. You can see based on say if AMD were to move down 10% or lose 10% of value, then we would probably, for that day or for today, you'd lose about $356 on that position, or your P&L open would go down $356. The same goes if AMD were to reduce 50% in price, we would be sitting at a loss or a greater loss of around $4,280. So this is just another feature to be able to analyze how certain market moves or certain metrics might affect your positions or portfolio as a whole. And then, you have your your totals bar here at the top of the screen. So this is the totals for all your accounts. So you'd see, hey, if every single symbol in my portfolio were to go down about 50%, I would actually be at a profit of about $46,000. So woohoo! But what are the odds? I think the Earth would need to be falling apart for that to happen. But you can kind of check out some more realistic events near the closer range there. And you can mess around with all those tools. What features is this called? This is called our risk analysis tool. So we do have a nice tutorial on our help center. I'm sure Andy or Pete can toss in a link there. But yeah, this is kind of especially for our portfolio margin customers, or kind of these larger holistic accounts. And you're trying to hedge Vega and all this other stuff. It's definitely a very useful tool to have, a little more advanced, which is why we didn't touch it originally. But let's see. Any other questions? Yes, exactly, Bruce. You go into the cap rec window that I mentioned earlier, and also that little link that Andy just sent in the chat is going to give you instructions on how to pull this up. But you click on cap rec in the positions tab, this button in the top left. Make sure that you select the positions that you want to view. So we were looking at AMD, so I clicked on cap rec. Maybe I only want to view AMD, so I click on that there. And then you click on risk analysis here at the top, and now we only have AMD shown. And then, yeah. So that is the risk analysis tool. Alice, I see you're asking how to copy trades. So if you're in reference to the follow feed, what you can do here is you can go into a follow feed. Maybe if you're a big tasty trader or tasty liver, sorry. The name change still gets me. But if you are a big tasty liver and like to follow the trades of, say, Tom Sosnov, Tony Batista, or any of the on-air talent, you can do so in our follow feed here at the bottom. And if you did want to potentially replicate their trade, you can do so by left clicking on the trade here and then clicking on duplicate this trade. So when you do, and I see, okay, so good question before, Alice, on the BTO STO. You can actually, when you left click on each of these trades here, that's where you're going to see BTO STO. So I was a little blind there for a second. I haven't touched the follow feed in a minute, but yeah, that's where you will be able to left click. It's going to expand. And then you can see BTO STO, and you can also click to duplicate this trade. Little disclaimer there, but we'll just pass over it forward now. But awesome. And Bruce, I agree, my friend. I don't think I don't know if we'll have that posted. I mean, you can see some metrics from the on-air show, but yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any like performance metrics off of these follow feed traders as of right now. But awesome. So there is going to be a recording we posted to our YouTube channel, but on our help center here, if you do go to tastytrade.com and then you click on help center here, get taken to our help center. And I know a lot of you were asking about where recordings. You can check out a nice overview video. So if you type in overview, you can see a lot of different overviews here. So maybe you want desktop platform overview. So we do have a nice little overview video or parted video here where it's split up on order entry, all that other jazz. But also, if you click on just like watch on YouTube here on any of our videos, or you just navigate to YouTube, and hopefully this actually loads, but I'll save it for later. But that's where you'll get taken to our YouTube channel. And if you find our main channel page, you'll see all the live demos at the top. So, but awesome. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time. We're going to have many more of these demos coming up very, very soon. We'll have a futures dedicated demo, a web demo. Alice, I see you're asking about alerts. Yes, you can set alerts. And this is just a little plug for our help center. If you type in alerts or alert on our help center and then go to quote alerts here, you can find out where you can set alerts and how you're able to do that through our help center here. So we got full guides on all that great stuff that you can check out on our help center. I remember Bruce asked about the risk analysis tool. So if we type in risk analysis here, portfolio risk analysis tool, click on that. And now we're going to have a nice little guide here on how to go through and, what each of these values means and how you can adjust it, all that good stuff. Over 300, 400 articles on the different tools and stuff, even like a glossary if you're curious on the different features. Say, oh, how do I change my trade tab columns? You can type in trade tab, change trade tab columns, all that good stuff. You'll find a ton of really good guides with GIFs, videos, all that jazz, maybe a little slideshow, show you how you can go through and change all that stuff. So again, thank you so much for your time. You can reach us anytime at support@tastytrade.com. You can also reach us on the phone at 888-247-1963. If you go on our help center and type in contact us, you'll find our phone numbers and emails listed as well. So nice page to maybe save if you ever need to reach out to us. We're not afraid to talk with you guys. I know you try calling some other places, you sit on the phone for like 10, 15 minutes, it drives you crazy. And then you get forwarded to another, the people that you're talking to on the phone, Andy, Peter, that have been answering your questions, myself, we are the ones that are going to be taking your calls, your chats, your emails, and answering it. We're very, we essentially know all parts of our business and are able to answer pretty much any question you got tossed our way. We're not going to forward you to 10 different people. So please feel free to toss out any questions to us as they come up. We're happy to get you guys started. So do you have any specialists for portfolio margin? Bruce, good question. Shoot us an email at support@tastytrade.com or give us a call. We do have some risk and margin specialists on our side if you'd like to speak with them. But also, if you're looking to learn more on portfolio margin, we got a bunch of different articles here as well. So if you wanted to apply for portfolio margin, it's essentially like higher leverage for margin accounts if you meet a certain equity requirement. But you can find out a lot about that through our help center or by just giving us a call. So feel free to do it. But thank you, everyone. Recording's coming out soon. Sorry to go a little bit long. And thank you, Pete and Andy. And I will catch you guys all later. Have a good one.